eardrums are bleeding. That's loud. Jeez.
Turn it up to 54. Coming live through the speakers.
Do some angles.
Hello.
Plus an eardrum.
Yeah. There we go. Sorry. I couldn't. Sorry. I normally turn it down, but I
I'm
wanted
not
to
going to be
feel
able
like
to hear
it's an
anybody
exciting
at
day.
finals now.
That's right. It's a Thursday
my hearing's
episode.
gone.
You were sitting in the second row. You don't hear everybody and feel it too. I want to hear it. Anyway, welcome everybody to episode 9 of On the Back Hash, where we talk all things pageantry art, and it is finals week.
Yeah.
For WGI. God dog it, DCI. I am.
Yeah. Get those silks and floors ready, y'all.
Boy, I tell you what, you can tell where my mind's already at. DCI is the finals at DCI. Right? Please don't get any paint or confetti or anything over the line. Sequences or anything. But yeah, it's finals week, and we got a special Thursday episode for you guys, just to kind of preview what's about to happen up in Indy, and we're headed that way. Like, we will be there. Indy will be Indy on Friday. I'm just be prepared. So, but yeah, it's about to be exciting, be really cool. Right? No, they'll be all right. They'll be all right. No, none of that. So today, basically, all we're going to do today is we're going to give our predictions for top 13, because we're not going to leave you hanging, figure out who 13th would have been, but we're going to give we're going to figure out who we think is going to get caption awards, and then if we got some time left, we may just have some general discussion about some stuff, but we're not going to talk too much about that stuff because we got a wrap-up episode that's coming next week when we get back as well.
That's right.
So we got some stuff we got to talk about. So basically how we're going to do this is we're going to build our finalist crew from 12 on up. We are going to give you our 13th place score first. But we're going to give you our thoughts on who's going to finish in what place. We're going to keep track with it so you can follow along with us. See who was right. See who was really, really wrong. Probably me. And we're going to give our caption. We're going to give our caption awards as such. So, and as always, I am joined by Mr. William, Mr. Chris, and Mr. Zacharias the 14th.
Esquire.
14th.
That's a lineage right there.
14th. Esquire.
They was getting busy.
Getting down.
And he's a middle child.
Yeah.
It's like, God dang, that means it's 24 of them. I was like,
so, all right. So, once again, these are our predictions. This is what we think might happen.
Welcome to BCI 2022, where everything's made up and the points don't matter, right?
That's what it feels like.
The placements don't matter.
Yeah. That part.
Except
that part.
Yeah. Except they really do kind of matter. Important.
You don't have to know.
Ours don't matter, but there's this. So now we're just ready to jump into this.
Yeah.
We got some chords to talk about. All right, so I know the number says 14, but Excel, you can't. Our names are in the front, so you can keep track of it. So 14 should actually be 13. But we digress. So I think I have.
You might want to scroll down a little bit more on there, just so that we can see it on there. Yeah, keep going down. Keep going. I can't see it, so.
What?
Keep going.
What are you
looking for?
The 14th plot.
I know.
14th, right?
We're on 20 now.
Oh, I can't see that much. Hold on. Oh, there it is. Okay, good. There it is. Found it. Hey, geez,
I was like, wait a minute.
These last 2 episodes have probably been. This has been.
Chris put everybody in.
I am just. You know what? I feel happy. Let's put 7th Regiment in there as a 20th.
You already got gold in there.
All right. Sorry, I just couldn't see it. Then I had to hit the right button. It's been a crazy week already. It's only Monday.
All right.
So
boy.
my 13th core that's going to barely miss finals is going to be Troopers. I have Troopers 13th at the moment. They've made a lot of good headway. I just think if they had another week or two, I think they could do it. But right now, I just think they got to jump 2 people, and I think they're going to jump 1, which we'll see here in a second. But it's going to be hard for them to get there. So they're my 13th core. Just missing the cut.
All right. Who do I have next? Will.
Oh man. So yeah, I'm finna shake the spot on purpose. Group I got that barely made it. Blue Knights.
This is out. This is out. This is 13.
13. Blue Knights.
Okay. Any insight to why, or you just think that's how that's gonna fall?
Something tells me something's coming with the scores and the way each of these bottom tier groups have been doing, and as close as especially it was tonight. I feel like that core, it's going to come down to the core who wants it the most.
Okay. All right. Zach, you have 13.
Also have in my 13th spot, by the thinnest of margins, the Troopers. And I'm going to go with the exact same reason William just said. It's going to come down to who wants it the most, and I think the Troopers really want it. I think that maybe without the pause from COVID, they would have it. And it might be just too little too late for them. But I think they realize that, especially after tonight, I think they definitely realize that they've got a shot. And that might fuel them. And, I mean, it was hard for me to put them 13th and not Blue Knights, but just with the way things have been going this season for Blue Knights, I don't think it's going to work out for them.
It's an all or nothing moment right now, like for real.
So Will, you're not shaking up the spot too much because I also have Blue Knights sitting 13th.
Let's go. Sign.
For me, it's a matter of. For me, I think Troopers are 14th.
Could very well be.
I know we're not talking about that, but for me, I think they're 14th. I think it's just a little bit too late. I think Blue Knights figured some stuff out, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Crossman's just too polished, in my opinion. So I got Blue Knights looking on the outside, looking in.
Mm-hmm.
So that one hurts.
It do.
I like Blue Knights.
It do.
But,
not even gonna lie.
But something about this program just didn't hit the way that it should have. So there we are. All right. So who is our first finalist? Will?
I'll go with me. Kind of like what you said. I got Crossman sneaking in. When you think about those, like I said, man, them last 3 are so close, and it's really rough when you look at the past scores and like tonight's score. What was it, like 0.12 or something like that? That's outrageous. That's unbelievably. That's almost like heartbreaking close at finals, and from you winning and not winning or something crazy. You know what I mean? But because it happened when it happened, that can also fuel the fire. So, but yeah, like you said, I think Crossman is just polished enough that I think they're going to cause an upset. But it's going to be tight.
I also have
your
Crossman in
12th plus
12. I
scorer.
think they have just enough. Just enough.
Yeah, I'm gonna third it. I think Crossman to be 12. Um, I think they finally hit a formula that they like with that show, and hopefully that'll
I hope so.
stick around. I would think they wouldn't change it each night of finals, but who knows? They may. So, and Chris,
So my bold prediction a few episodes ago was that Crossman was not going to make finals, so I had to stick to my guns. I'm putting Blue Knights as 12. I gotta.
And you see how, but you see
Yeah,
how
I
all
mean
this is? It's like that close with
those
everything.
those
It's
three
so
cores,
crazy.
Crossman, Troopers, and Blue Knights, and heck, even Colts if you throw them in there, like that. That honestly,
Really
depending
though.
on what night, is going to depend on who is sitting in those positions. So
Yeah,
I
I mean
think
that kind of goes on my bold prediction that somebody was going to be going into semifinals, have a spot at finals, and then they're going to lose it, and that very well could happen. And yeah, we'll talk about the rest later. But
like I said,
yeah,
I gotta stick with my guns.
Yeah.
I had Blue Knights getting in
Yep.
and crossing out, so I had to do it. So yeah.
man of your
You gotta
word.
do.
All right,
in my
Zach, who do you have
11th
11th?
place, I have the Colts, and I think they're going to get 11th because of their percussion. They've kind of been carrying them a little bit, and I think the
That's fair.
percussion is going to be what's going to
That's
push
fair.
them past Crossman.
Um, yeah, I agree. I think Colts are doing
They got too much
just
momentum.
enough on the GE side of things. Yeah, they really do.
No.
I don't think they're going to let this moment slip away. So, Colts for me, I have them 11 for both Crossmen.
I'm also gonna go with
Chris,
Colts at 11th. I think once they realized that they had a show, it was over. I think they knew that like once you saw them beat Blue Knights and like that first time, it was over after that. So I feel like they're securely in that 11th spot.
and Will.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and make it unanimous. Colts. That's who I had. They showed up when they
It
needed
seems
to,
like
and they've been holding on tight.
yeah, that's been the impressive thing
Yeah,
is they haven't just faltered.
because that's hard.
They've
That's hard to do. Once you break the barrier to getting into this top 12, doesn't mean you're guaranteed it through the rest of the season or towards the end. And to be able to
Yeah.
hold it like they've done so far, or be in the conversation,
Yep.
that's
I feel like we see groups
outstanding in
that
its own.
might slide into that 12th place at one of these later shows, but then they can't. They run out of steam, or they've played all their cards too soon, and they don't have any more room. But luckily for them, they seem to have had just enough to ride it out.
I agree. All right, 10th place. Um, I'm going with Phantom. It feels weird putting them here.
That's how good this season is, man.
Um,
That tells you all you need to know.
um, but because the show is really good, it's a really good show. Um, and I think they're just playing
Yep.
well, but so is everybody else.
Man.
So, 10th place, I have Phantom Regiment.
I also have
Chris?
Phantom Regiment at 11th. These next couple ones, I think we're going to be pretty. I think we're going to be pretty close to across the board on this one.
Unanimous.
So, but yeah, Phantom 11th.
Probably.
Sorry, 10th. Yeah, sorry,
Well,
that's what I
that
meant.
would be
Sorry.
10th.
Yeah, team.
I know, man.
Yeah.
I'm telling
The
you,
numbers don't line up because
can't read today.
names. Will?
Same Phantom Regiment.
Zach?
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with my heart. Something I feel I had a really hard time putting that because of how them and Mandarins have been flip flopping, but I'm gonna put Phantom in 10th because I like Mandarin's show better.
Hey,
Yeah. So, ninth place,
it's true
Chris.
I
statement.
think this is an easy one. Mandarins. Kudos to them for keeping that momentum going. Yeah, keeping that momentum going and continuing to do what they need to do and solidify themselves as a finalist core. Let's see if they can keep it going. So excited about them.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Will.
Yep, Mandarins. I like it.
I would also like to throw out that they
I'm
march. I'm pretty sure
kind
they march a
of.
trombone line. I think they do that. Are they the ones that do that? I think it's Mandarins.
Do they
I
march
don't
it,
think they
or
march
is
it.
it just the intro?
I could be wrong though.
They have before.
Yeah, but kudos on them for actually using the trombone the way people are supposed to. So
You already know what I'm gonna say.
Pioneer, yes,
All right,
Pioneer,
Pioneer.
coming in ninth.
Yeah.
Do I want to be different?
I
Yeah.
mean,
I
it's
do. I
tough.
kind of do.
We ain't got to be the same. That's why I said
I know.
Blue Knights
Go
early.
for it. Do it. Do it.
Oh snap!
Yeah. From Rosemont, Illinois.
I don't really think it's going to happen, but I would not be shocked if it did.
They've been
I can
getting
understand
by.
it.
Just barely. All it's going to take is a dirty run. They've had a few of
And
them.
that's basically why. But I mean, it's going to be super tight with that. I don't really believe it, but you know what? Who cares? Will, 8th place.
Hey. Well, this is where I have cabbies.
Ditto.
Zacharias.
The ditto doesn't do I'm not going.
They don't do nothing
Not
but come out
going.
and agree with everything. Told y'all we getting kicked out. They already got our pictures up on the
For
wall.
me, for me, 9 and 10 are 8 and 9 are interchangeable. So since I had cabbies in 10 and 9, I'm going to put Manor 8th.
Yeah, wow, you,
Chris, stars, is that what you want?
sir,
That's what I heard. That's what I heard.
cabbies. I have cabbies there. I will say on the note of cabbies, I feel like they're getting back on their feet after that lull that they had for a little bit, and like the year before COVID, they did a good job of getting back to where they need to
That
be. But
propaganda show brought them back.
yeah, but like they're continuing that momentum, and honestly, with how they're doing stuff, I can see, now Blue Stars might, think otherwise, and Cadets might think otherwise, but if Cavs keep this momentum, we might see them next year starting to creep back up closer to the top five. But they're on a good track.
If they have a dirty run,
Manny's
Manor
got
will
them.
beat them.
I'm
And that's
telling you right
okay.
now.
I'm good with either one of those.
I'll second that.
Yeah. I just like being different. But Cavs got a lot of stuff happening. But when you have a lot of stuff happening, that leaves a lot more room for dirt. 7th.
If you do it, you better be clean.
I have the Blue Stars. Kind of hurts me to say that, but it's just so good. And I really want it to be a top 6 show, but I don't think it's going to happen. But I really enjoy it. And I didn't at first.
I agree. Blue Stars is very polished. If they want to crack top 6, so they're going to have to step up the design game a little bit.
That's what I was going to say.
And beef up the
That's what I was going to say.
They got to get that star form together at the end, though. It looked like one of my students do that.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, it was bad.
I also have Blue Stars there, but I will kind of echo what you guys were saying. Like, I think next year they need to try to make that jump. They need to try to beef everything up and see what they can do. I will say I was an early fan of this show when we first saw it, and I really liked it, and I was even pulling for them to jump the cadets and stuff, which it didn't. It's not looking like it's going to happen.
Makes me wonder how old their group is this year.
That could be a factor too. Yeah, I mean, it could be something with that. But I mean, I think that, like I think I said after the Murfreesboro show that we got to see live, like there's 2 cores that play with great control and it's like sound wise, and that's Blue Devils and Blue Stars in my opinion. I just feel like they just have a nice, gentle. They're not punching you in the face. They're just kind of legitimately touching your cheek, kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Like, so I will forever ever say Blue Stars. Thank you for performing probably one of my favorite shows of the year. So thanks.
Tear, man. Tear. Will.
I'm playing. It's Blue Stars. It's Blue Stars. It's Blue Stars.
You're about to cancel our podcast. You put down there, right?
I think I just saw lightning strike your house.
Right? They're going to send another heat wave your way just because that's what's going to happen.
Take that. Better get that box fan ready.
I was like, I mean, I'll put it.
I'm like everybody else, man. Blue Stars grew on me. I know I asked a lot about the concept and trying to figure it out, but it's grown on me.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's just so polished.
It is.
Yep.
It's just done really, really well.
But it's like you said, they got that difficulty to come up a lot. Especially now, I think Boston might have pissed everybody off on how high you got to step the game up now.
Mm-hmm. So that's our top 6 plus 1 right there. Not top 6, bottom 6 plus 1. Pretty standard. Little discrepancy between 12 and 13. And then the only reason there's discrepancy here because I want to be different. So,
but it's just though.
So yeah. So there's that.
I mean nothing we have said.
I wouldn't do it
out of the question whatsoever.
Yeah.
No. So, all right, moving right along. We are on 6th place now.
It's your turn. Yeah.
Is it my turn? Okay. 6th place. The Cadets. Glad to see them in the top 6. Or will be glad to see them in the top 6. I think that show's phenomenal for them. I think they're slowly on the bounce back with some stuff. Clean some stuff up, get that percussion back to where it used to be, and it's going to be some problems to be had.
I also have the Cadets there. They are probably my favorite at the moment marching corps, like actually moving around on the field and just their design and stuff. Just reminds me of old school Cadets, which is awesome to see. So. Got Cadets there.
William.
Same Cadets. Man, their last run that they had, what was it, Saturday?
It was good.
It was Allentown.
Mm-hmm.
God, they played there. Somebody said something. And they really came out and laid it.
They were inspired. For sure.
Yep.
Zach? Make a clean sweep. And we haven't talked about this. I know we're agreeing a lot, but just it's kind of how we all see stuff, and we all see it from different angles.
Just top five could be different.
Yes.
Yeah. I think that's where we're gonna have some fun. So, all right.
I have SCV,
Christoph.
but I also have them winning percussion, an overall award there. So I have them winning percussion. The reason why I have them winning percussion is because that front ensemble, as always, just doing awesome things, man. So, yeah. So SCV winning perk overall.
All right, William.
Yeah, I got the same. It'll be Vanguard at 5th, and they'll bring home that good old Fred.
4 in a row.
And a whole lot of folks gonna be mad.
Mm-hmm.
I can hear it already.
Yep.
Complete package.
I'm telling you.
Retweet, copy, paste.
You gotta
Control C.
You gotta dissect
Control
it.
V.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, we are the most boring. This is the most boring list we've ever had.
Wait. It's gonna get interesting. I think.
This is what makes me laugh though. Is like, it's just funny. We're like all season, we're like, oh my guys, I'm telling you, it's gonna be crazy. And then we're like, we have this. Which I mean, we that's usually how it is. We kind of talk about that. Like the middle of the pack's kind of already set, locked in. The interesting stuff was at the bottom and the top. So this thing was funny.
Yeah. I mean, we could have, and that's the thing. If we were to go down, and like I said, if we feel like we want a time and we want to talk about 14, 15, 16, I mean, that could get interesting down there. We could talk about, because here, I mean, let's be honest. If we get down here, somebody
that could be something we can do. This would be interesting. If we want to do this after we get done with our list, highest placement open class core. What do you think? Yeah, we can do that. That might be interesting to do.
We can see that. We can look into that. So, all right.
Here we go.
Oh boy.
It's about to go down.
Eat 'em up, Boston.
Ooh, spicy.
Yep. I'm causing an upset. I'm causing.
Zach just broke. Zach just died a little, I think.
No.
Yeah,
I wasn't ready for it.
I'm taking all the smoke. I'm finna get a whole lot of folks mad at me.
So what? So what are you thinking? Why? Why do you have
Listen?
Okay. Yeah.
I think everybody's gonna catch them. I think they're gonna slip.
I will agree with you.
The show's too hard. I think too many. There's a lot.
Go ahead.
What you saying? I was saying it's so much. It's so much. It's to the point that it's so much. It's the same old. If you do it, it has to be clean. And when the pressure, because I think they'll use the first night to get their bearings. But if something doesn't line up their way and with everybody on their tail, and then these past couple shows, because technically, since people like to do the estimated rankings and all that kind of stuff, if you go back and look at it, technically Crown's back at second. But will that hold? Because I don't know if that's going to hold. You see what I'm saying? But if you don't go off of that, man, everything is so close, so tight, and it's going to take one slip up, and that show is so hard. If they do anything wrong, it's going to get caught. It's something that we see in indoor every single year.
I will agree with you. I will say this to your point. Out of what we have left, I do think Boston's show is the most vulnerable. Out of, I would say them and Crown are kind of up there with vulnerability as, like, you know.
They do.
Yeah.
They have zero room for mistake. Zero room for mistake. And I think the other one, besides Crown, like you said, they got the ability to hide those little small nuances that Boston can't afford to hide. Because I'm telling you, if we're just speaking on the percussion alone, one slip up out the snare line and it's a wrap. Because their snare line it's so heavy. So if they start dirting out rolls, or somebody comes in and on a cold attack the wrong count, or just hear something like the wrong moment, you can go and wave the white flag. It's a gamble you take when you write such difficult shows like that.
Yeah.
I have Carolina Crown in fourth
place.
I think it's plateaued for them, and some jerk that taught me an indoor a long time ago used to tell us overhyping is bad. And he's sitting right there.
I don't know who you're talking about.
You point at me. No.
I don't know who you're talking about.
He's right there on my screen. No, Will's not a jerk, but that's what he would always tell us. Overhyping is bad. And I think that Crown, it's just a bit much. And I think it's lost its luster.
I used to tell y'all to keep the hype out of your hands.
Overhyping is bad.
There's a huge difference.
Shut up.
Huge difference. Because if your hype gets into your hands, that causes the dirt. Your hands have to have a separate brain when they play. Because if I need you to play at 3 inches, you need to play at 3 inches. But at the same time, I need you to smile and do a backflip. You see what I'm saying? Well, I need you to play very, very quietly while you're really, really happy and do something dangerous. That's the difference.
So
I bet I know who it is.
One of y'all.
Is it me?
Yeah.
That.
Let's go.
Once again, 3 and 4 for me are going to be.
I don't know why I'm acting excited about this, because by the time they get this high up in awards, I'm going to be passed out. So my blood pressure is going to be through the roof. Either that or I'll be thrown out because I'm streaking on the field because Colts got 10th.
But nah, they could come out with something in the next 2 days, but I think they're kind of boxed in. So,
all right, okay, I have
Chris.
No, I didn't say this earlier, but I got Boston winning color guard.
Okay, I was wondering. I figured so. I just didn't want to put words in your mouth.
I just looked over in my list and I was like, I got to forget to say.
Excuse me. I have Crown as well.
Chris.
Sitting there. Yes, and the reason why is
really
it's kind of similar to what Zach is saying. I kind of mentioned this on our last episode of the recap of the week before. Is I don't know what else you can add to that show and get it to metal. I don't know what's there. Like Will was saying with Boston too. Like, and they can be dirty, and Crown can be dirty as well. And I feel like the fan experience is a great idea, but the general effect is with the audience, not with the judges. And I think that's what's hurting them right now is that the GE experience is on the app and all the cool stuff's there. And like I said, I feel like they had a cool idea with that, and then they're just like, oh crap, what do we do? How do we make this show what we want it to be? And I just don't think that they have enough to get them to a medal contention at this point.
It's going to take somebody to slip up, and they're going to get their medal from them.
I think
because that's a medal quality show any other year.
And that's the thing. I think they have
but
enough.
Because the top is so crowded, I think if they're going to get a medal, it's because somebody's going to slip up.
Like I said, I think they have enough. It's just a matter of, for me, this was almost a preference thing. I really like the first half of their show, but they get to the ballot, and I'm like, So this may be more of my heart instead of my head, but I don't. Them and Boston don't have as much room to grow. I still think Blue still got some stuff that they can still do to theirs, and BD always finds an extra 7 gears. So
some bullshit.
There's that. Zach, third. Who's
Blue
getting
Coats.
bronze?
I think I just feel like with how every other show has went this season, they're going to kind of get the short end in the GE category,
which is insane.
I think I don't know. I just think it kind of goes over people's head, maybe, or there might be a GE judge that doesn't like a lot of voiceover, and I don't know. But I feel like they're going to get a medal, but not what they could have gotten.
I agree. I think Blue Coats will be third. I think I think judges' problems with the Blue Coat show is I don't think that they think it's demanding enough. I think they're losing points in the content caption because they're not blowing. Their book isn't super athletic like the Blue Devils has moments like that, and Blue Devils and Boston and Crown have those hyper athletic brass moments that happen throughout. But Blue Coats don't have that. But it's difficult in other ways, and I just think that I don't think the judges are appreciating what they're achieving because it doesn't sound hard. Does that make sense? But you let somebody hit that rolling pad on that trigger loop pattern a half a second late, you have some issues. So, and their drums are playing well too. I think their drums can. I think that's the thing that if they can keep everything else close and finish top 3 in drums, I think that'll put them in the bronze range.
I have got Boston third. I think, and I had them winning guard.
Shaking it up.
I had them winning guard.
Shaking it up.
I'm kind of giving away what we only got 2 more cores left, so we kind of figure out what it's going to be. But I think Blue Coats I think they got some momentum. I know like the rankings don't show it and all this kind of stuff, but I feel like that show, like you're saying, they're getting dinked on GE quite a bit, but I feel like it's going to come together. I feel like they still have something up their sleeve. They got something they're going to bring out. I don't know. I just have this feeling. But with Boston show, I think it's just kind of what Will was saying. The percussion is really good, and I think they'll be second in percussion at finals. But like, I think that covers up a lot of brass stuff that's happening there, and I think I'll talk about them in a second. But I think Boston it's not going to be enough. I don't think they'll medal. I think they'll medal, but I just don't think it's going to be enough to get into that second spot.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Will?
Where my list go? Oh. Yeah, I had Blue Coats.
Will's got that spicy list over here. Spicy.
Yeah.
I looked at it in a different angle this time.
Over here? Oh, okay.
I mean, just kind of basically what I've already been saying, like what I was saying about Boston and stuff like that. Is I don't know. There's a lot of shows that you wonder what can they do, and then you wonder if they slip up, it's over. Because that final stage is that final stage is maybe, I don't know, maybe I went into experience mode when I marched and felt the same. The season feels nowhere close to finals, the final stretch, those final 3 days, that final night when you're out there. I don't know. I think it's like you said when you told me it's like I think the pressure's going to get to them. It could and it may not. But it's so scary when you have such a demanding show that, I mean, and I hate that I always go back to indoor, but it's just the same way indoor. I was like, man, if Pulse makes one mistake, X has got him. Now I felt X should have won in general, but Pulse is just that clean, and Boston is that clean, but X is like Blue Coats. It's like, okay, we catch y'all blinking on the wrong beat. Because, I mean, just look at what X did. What was they, sitting fourth or third or something and jumped to second? That's hard. That's very hard to do at finals. So.
All right.
Yep.
Second place. My turn. I don't think it'll be enough. I'm gonna take Boston second. There's 30 seconds in that show that I just can't get past. And when they got close to BD, I was like, okay, it might happen. And
then so cute.
Like, nope.
Look at y'all.
and just that SmackDown head to head, it's tough. So I do think they are going to win guard. Guard's phenomenal, but I'm going to put Boston second.
I have Blue Coats second. I think out of all the top cores, 1 through 4, I feel like they have, besides BD, I think that they're good enough in all captions. I think that if the GE gets up there for them, I think they're good enough to do that. I think they have a good enough percussion. I think they have a good enough brass section, a good enough visual package that's going to edge them out barely over Boston. And honestly, that difference between Boston and Blue Coats, I think, is going to be like razor thin. I think we're going to see maybe some ties and some captions, and then some are going to divide them out there. But I think it's going to be really thin between Boston and Blue Coats. I just think that, like, overall, besides BD, they do everything well enough, that they can jump along these people. So that's why I have them second.
All right. Will.
I'm about to say, I was like,
no, I'm not doing it. Okay. I got Crown.
I'm with you on second, but not
I got
first.
Crown. And okay, the only reason why I did Crown is it's like everything we've been kept saying. It's like, what else can everybody do? What else can Blue Coats do? Like they done did a uniform change. Crown done brought out 1,000 tarps. You know, Boston's got their little slick ending, whatever they got going on. But it's like, what else can everybody do? And then after going off of that idea, I went to, okay, the hype is going to get it. And I think it's going to get it to the point where it's going to make people mad because it did get it. Because that finals, like it's one of those things again. Through the season is one thing, but when you've got a show like that and it hits finals, because I know I talked to you about this once before, said about Rhythm X and indoor. I said, man, when they go to finals, the crowd is going to go ballistic. And I said the same thing for Dartmouth High School, and I said the same thing for Avon High School. I said when they see this crap and seeing Avon punch the bag and doing a snare solo at the same time, they're gonna go ballistic. Hype stuff. And I started putting two again. I was like, I don't know. Something's telling me that crown is going to. It's like you said, because I'm kind of with you. Like towards the ballot, you kind of fall off. But in the beginning, man, you're in it. And I think that's going to catch everybody to the point to where they're not going to care about the rest. And then when they get to balls to the wall to the end and just blaring notes and it gets all crazy and stuff and they start hollering and all things, it's the hype show. For some reason, it made me think, why is this going to get up there? You see what I'm saying? And in the end, I hate to do it, but I got crown winning brass.
I mean, if you're going to have them second, they got to win something up there. I mean, that's... Yeah.
Yeah. They don't have to.
That's the only one I can give them. The only one I can give.
I've got Boston in second.
Zach.
No. I also have them winning guard.
I'm disappointed.
And I was thinking, like, if there's any caption that they could snag from, like, overall, because the captions are also over the 3 nights, right? I think I'm going to say that Boston might win visual. And that may be like a really hot and dumb take, and I think it might be because of their guard. Does that make sense?
Now,
yeah,
keep in mind that it's like visual proficiency. So that's like,
I don't know,
basically how well they march.
I feel like they might grab a caption, but I feel like that's the only one that they're going to grab from BD. Because when they were closing the gap on them, didn't they win visual one night? Or was it GE? I don't know.
I don't know.
I didn't feel like looking it up.
I have to do some research. So, all right. So we don't even really have to go down the list. Our number one 2022 DCI champion.
Oh, snap.
Pioneer! Oh, sorry.
Yeet.
Oh, man.
There it is.
Brass visual.
I know. For me personally, I think they're going to take brass.
Man, that ain't fair.
Listen, man, this show, like,
just
it's so BD, and like, I think that's what makes some people so upset about it, because it's what they've done every year. And I said this at I think episode 3 or whatever it was.
I mean, it's
that they have the if it's not broke, don't fix it mentality, and they medal every year and they win almost every other year. So I mean, why not? Why not? You know, that's my thing. So
what is it? Will this be 20?
20, yeah.
It's on the 50th anniversary. They've won 20 of them.
It's a conspiracy. It's a conspiracy.
40%. It goes all the way to the top.
It's a dynasty,
brass.
I mean, that's what it is. Like,
oil
if you get
machine
into that core,
organization.
you have a legacy to uphold when you go in there. Like you don't want to be that. You don't want to be that group that gets fourth.
But see,
You know what I mean? Like you don't want to be that group.
No, you don't want to be the group that gets third.
But see, here's
Yeah.
the thing. But see, here's the thing. Here's the thing, and I kept trying to tell people. I was like, when I marched, I was like, people completely overlook BD as far as what they do and how they run the organization. Them kids do not have that pressure. They have. I don't believe they have that kind of pressure. I feel that they know that the organization has that name. I think they know they have those standards, but I think because the people that they're bringing in is so good and such on a high level of talent, it 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 works without trying in a sense. Because obviously they try, because we all talk about BD, especially percussion in the beginning of the season. What percussion is always dirty in the beginning of the year, and they really just out of nowhere, oh, here's BD.
Magic Fairy.
And I think, as you put it,
they magically get better, and it's almost every year. It's like, how does BD do that? But when you're standing next to them, when you're at a same housing site with Adam or with them, it's unbelievable. Because you look at somebody like SCV, where they're almost like soldiers, and BD's the nightclub. How is it possible that the nightclub can beat the soldiers so easily? I don't want to say easily, but I'm using poor choice of words here. But
what I mean, like, they know
basically,
like there, but like I don't think the staff is like pushing that. I feel like it's like an unspoken, like, you get into BD, you're marching BD,
that part.
you know there's going to be a high quality, and I think what it is too is that, like, if you make BD, okay, I think in your head, like, that makes me feel like I'm one of the top. You know what I mean? Like, I think that
if you make BD, you're automatically getting a medal.
Automatically.
Like, unless something real weird happens.
It's basically like your chance of getting a medal and or winning is so high automatically. Because I know I speak to this to some people all the time. It's like, if you are that kind of group who goes in, it's like, all right, when you're designing your show, we got to make sure we're doing this, and who do we got to beat? Or if you're even thinking that, because I know a lot of coaches don't do that, but if you are one of those that do that, you have no choice but to put BD at the top. It's like the NBA. You can't say NBA without say Golden State Warriors. Like, you got to get over them. You got to get over this group or that group or where, and they're always there. Because I tell people all the time, I was like, when you break it down, sometimes all these groups who've won in the past that we've all loved and liked, Crown, SCV, Blue Coast, when they've won, right?
Yeah.
We've all been happy. Who's been second?
Not by much either.
BD.
And that's scary to think about.
No.
Think about that. As hard as other groups have to work and everything, because you never hear as much anymore. Cavaliers won this year, great, and they beat the Cadets. When's the last time you heard that?
Not since I've been watching. Hey.
I'm gonna look it up while y'all talk about that. I mean,
I think we have
this up before. So here's the question, man, for you guys to ponder and discuss. What would it take? And we can talk about those next three. So we're talking about Boston, we're talking about Blue Coats, we're talking about Crown. What's it going to take to topple BD
this weekend?
Because we've talked about BD and why they're great.
You mean this weekend or in general?
What would it?
This week?
Whatever. We can talk about this week or just in general. I mean, this week would be more.
I kind of look at it as, man, I sound like a broken record because I feel like I say it all the time, but I'm always comparing it to indoor, but it almost feels like everybody needs to dumb down their shows, or everybody needs to start playing to the sheets more. Everybody needs to start being more cookie cutter or whatever, or figuring out that type of formula, because people don't seem to understand that difficulty does not mean automatic win. Just because your show is hard or out, like Boston has gave themselves zero room for mistakes. You have the hardest battery book this year, but you cannot falter because you chose to write all those notes.
But
While in
that's
the
what's that.
meantime, here's BD.
I feel like that what you
New
just said
faces,
right
new
there is the
kids.
reason why you have those. Like they feel like they have to bring out a content package that's just so high. Yeah, like that because BD
Demanding.
yeah, and that's the thing. It's
They
just
feel that's what it
I
takes to
mean
beat BD.
honestly, I don't know if any of them have anything to even at this point jump up there. Um, I mean, honestly, if I was going to say
Mm-hmm.
anything of those three, I mean, Crown, you would think would be the one that could do it with their brass, but then but their percussion is just hurting. And like the year that they
Ain't
and
gonna
the year that
happen.
they won, what happened? Their percussion
Not
was
enough.
the top three. I think it was top three. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Mm, fourth,
I think their
Yeah,
yes, they were
protection
four,
was
five,
like
six
five,
range
fifth,
because
or
they
sixth.
the percussion is what
that's
almost
right.
kept them
Yeah,
They
out
that's
of
were
right.
that gold
Well,
medal.
like after that though, like you saw, yeah.
yeah.
So that's why
They had to
like
get
that's
perfect
why I
scores
think I put
and
Blue
entry
Coats where I
caption.
put them, just because they do everything well, and I think that's what you have to do. Is that BD does everything not only well, but they do everything great. Like their design, I mean, and it's so simple, and that's what makes a lot of
Yes,
people mad. You hear people like, all they're doing is taking 8 to 5 step, and then they're parking and barking. Yeah, I mean, but the thing
exactly.
is, I mean,
Oh, they
I've
go
said
off.
that
They
from
talk
time to
so
time
bad
because
about their
it
drill.
does get frustrating when you watch like you know SUV like running around like the old school style, just doing all kinds of crazy drill, and then you got a core coming out 8 to 5. But the thing is, their music and the general effect package is so phenomenal that like,
I mean,
what are you supposed to do? That's my thing, is that
Mm-hmm.
what are you supposed to do when they
yeah,
do everything at such a high level? Like you have to go to, I gotta make something so demanding that it might take them down, but if I mess it up one time, I'm gonna fall down to fourth. And that's the crazy thing about with
Mm-hmm.
BD, is just they're just so
yeah.
dominant with that.
I mean, you can sense it. Like, and Chris, you probably felt it at Murfreesboro. The air felt different from the time that they saluted to the time it was done.
Yeah.
It was like, I mean, like we talked about how Music City and Blue Knights went on first, and then the Cavaliers came out, and immediately it like jumped up in impact and quality. And that's not a knock on them. It's just Cavaliers
Mm-hmm.
brought just that power. It was like boom in your face from the first note, and
Mm-hmm.
then and then we waited, and we got BD at the end, and it's just like you could feel the electricity in the air. And it's not because they're doing a bunch of flashy stuff. It's just like the presence and it was just nonstop.
I mean, I think like it was funny because the people I was sitting around, like, I think wanted to hate that show, like, because like Boston just got done, and like everyone's going crazy, and like everyone's all right, who's coming
It's
next? And
very,
they're like BD, and they're like,
Mm-hmm.
oh my gosh, here we go, and like they're sitting there, and
yeah,
like you can tell it's so funny because we all do it. Your core goes on,
Mm-hmm.
there's nothing wrong, but the core that you don't like, you're starting
Mm-hmm.
nitpicking, and
yeah,
like there's people trying to, yeah, and like people trying to nitpick stuff, and then
You're picking everything apart.
what is there to nitpick? Like that
not
was,
much.
like, and that's the thing, is like you can hit on here a couple places, but you gotta say that about your core too. Like you gotta say that's what's happening because they're doing the exact
Yep.
same thing. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's just it just blows my mind, like when we talk about BD, just how good they are at everything. It's just crazy. Like we have SCV winning perk. Well, Blue Devils are not going to be that far behind them. You know, they might be sitting second or third. You know, it could be anything. You know, we have
If they
Boston.
don't win a caption, they're second.
Yeah, we have Boston winning guard. You know, that's probably, I would say, if anything, that's probably BD's, I won't say weakest, but like they're biggest area, but they're still sitting third. Like,
it's,
you know what I mean?
Say, it's been really close between them, Crown, and Boston.
Is metal
and
quality.
Guard.
And so, like, when you can do that, like, you're always going to be able to medal. Like, there's never going to be an option. And like if your worst caption is third and the other ones are second or first, like, you're going to win almost every single time, I feel like. And I mean, and like our thing right here, all of us have them winning 3 or 2 captions overall. There's no way you're going to beat them. You know, there's no way.
Doing that little research, the last time Blue Devils finished outside of the top 2.
Yo, I just graduated high school.
Finished third.
Let's talk about that for a second. That's when that happened.
Wow.
Godfather show.
I mean, I know.
Let's
I'm like the middleman here, so I mean, like, I can't.
Old fogey.
Yeah. And we talked about, you know, how all of those, there are specific shows that beat special.
I mean, that's the thing, is that you have to have a show that just. It sounds weird, but it has to be 20 points better to beat them by a point. You know what I mean? Like, you have to have one of those shows because they're going to do something so well. And we would talk about that all the time in our you know, when we're doing high school and all that stuff. But like, to be some of those things, you have to be 20 points better in some captions just to get the equivalent, because they do stuff so well. I'm not saying that that's what the scores are going to be, but just to get to that level of where they are, you have to do that. And just circling the back.
And it's like you got.
And I think that's why, while the numbers don't seem to dictate this, but I think that's why Bluecoats have been so close to beating them, or seems like they're the only ones that can really do it, is because they say, okay, we're going to do it, but we're going to go about it a different way. We're going to come at you from a different angle. So, you know, we're going to take what you do. We're going to take your esoteric thoughts and ideas and show ideas, but we're going to make them accessible and attainable.
Because I don't think nobody's like Bluecoats either. BD's their own entity, and I think Bluecoats are their own entity. I don't see too many cores that resemble them. And that's hard to do. I think that's like really hard to do.
Because people, you will hear people say, or people may argue,
True.
Well, Boston was just cadets made over.
Because I've told people before, people are so uptight on Boston's drumline. I was like, well, hell, cadets been doing it for years.
You can close your eyes and listen to that Boston show this year, and you can hear cadets all over it. I mean,
the thing is, I think people got used to cadets because when cadets first did it, it was flashy. It was like, oh, cool, and then it became the normal, and then nobody seen nothing to top it until now. Now they're like that with Boston. So,
yes,
and this is what has happened to Crown. They were the ones playing the super high, highly athletic brass books and running all over the place and doing the drill. And then other cores, you know, they were just killing brass. So chorus was like, well, if you can't beat them, join them. So they started to write that same way. And they're doing it on an equal, if not better, level than Crown's doing it. So the thing that was kind of bolstering them up and making them unique, well, everybody else is doing it now. So they've kind of lost. Well, this show fits them.
I feel like,
you know, where do you go? Where do you go from here with that? Like, if you go super hype this year and it doesn't win,
it's
where
almost,
do you go?
I feel like you do.
Back to the
I think
classical?
go back to the roots. It's like your brain tells you to go back to whatever.
I feel like they have to be more or less deliberate about doing those things. Like right now, they're like, it's so in your face. We're going to double and triple tongue, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do this. And I think if they were more subtle about, I don't know, well, maybe not subtle, but like if it was done a little bit more sophisticatedly, I don't know, like if it was not so like direct, like here's what we're going to do. We're going to double tongue, and now we're going to run, and then we're going to do this. And if it was more like a smoother transition from one to the other, I don't know. Do you get what I'm saying?
Well, see, that's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to do because if you think about it, you can make the argument that BD does the same. Because as soon as the what's names parts and the trumpets come in with their little phrases, they're just in that pod and they stand there. But I get what you're saying.
I was going to say as a poor comparison, you know, there are some people out there that say
that's
the Cavaliers
the simplification of things. You know what I mean? Like that's what you get.
And that's the thing. They're all doing it. Like, I mean, that's part of what the effect caption is taking us from moment to moment and doing that. It's just when the Cavies do it, it's blatantly obvious that here's the next thing. Okay, here's the next thing. So you remember the moments, but you don't remember a lot of what happens between the moments. And I can see what you're saying, Zach, as far as like Crown's horn book is, we're really just setting up
like their musical stuff
to set up the next moment, the next musical moment, because they don't. Yeah, like the only thing they really set up visually to me
I was going to say the same thing.
Crown. That's kind of it. So, you know, you got to look at design. I think SEV, and they typically don't do this, but I think SEV has got a little too stuck on the formula from Babylon.
Because if you think about it, they all have kind of traits from it. Even last time, the last Judge
I feel like
year,
they took
it was basically part two.
For Babylon, they took the BD formula. Yeah. You know, like it was a lot of. I mean, you still had some SCV in there, but like it was very. I don't want to say simplified because that's not the word I want to use, but like it was not the usual Vanguard that we're used to seeing, in my opinion. And I think they found that and they hooked onto it and won and they went with it. I mean, same thing with Bluecoats. I mean, they found the formula with the electronics and the synth and you know, that kind of.
Yeah, but they've figured out what worked, and then they've done more on top of that versus just repeating that over again.
I will say, though, I mean, if you look at Bluecoats, I mean, you think about, I mean, we can get more into this, but Bluecoats with tilt and kinetic noise, I feel like that was, I won't say it was the same, but it was a progress, but like, well, yeah, I mean.
No, those two shows.
But I remember, because Sergio, we talked about that when we were talking about Tilt, because I think you said.
Because I didn't, unpopular opinion, I didn't really care for Tilt that much.
Because what I remember is when you said that, when we saw Tilt and we were watching it, is like, and we were looking at all the electronic stuff, and I think it was either that year or the year after where you was like, they're probably testing this to see the reaction of how this. You see, what I'm saying? It was something along the lines of that.
Because kinetic noise.
It was probably it probably was kinetic noise to test, because they had like speakers on the field everywhere, and they were just testing all this electronic stuff and how it would react to probably the audience and the judges. And now it's like, it's their thing now. I mean, look at all the samples that they have.
They are not afraid to take a risk at all. I mean, you tilt the whole field for one, and then you're going to do all of this tech stuff, you know, and then the next year you're like, you know what, fuck the blue coats. We don't wear this white jumper, and it worked for them. And they're not afraid to take risks. It means Jagged Edge, or Jagged Line, even though it didn't place well by their standards, like they put a whole stage on the field and interacted with it. Like, I'm not about to march down some steps at 180 with a tuba. I'm not doing it. And here they come flying over through it. So like they're not afraid to take risks. And much like Tilt and Kinetic Noise set up whatchamacallit, I think they took some stuff from Session 44. Downside up, yeah. I think they took some stuff from Jagged Line. I think they took some stuff from Session 44, and then the Two Beatles show. Last year, Lucy was an experiment show because you can look at the color palette. It's the same. It's the same color palette. Some of the effects that they used last year, Lucy, they're using this year.
To the America show, it goes back to Metropolis. Every year it's like like you said, they do a test run and see what they can get away with and what works. And then they're like, all right, that worked. We're going to add this on top of that now. And then that works. So we're going to add this as well. And it's just a constant evolution of that signature.
But it's so crazy. Because think about it. Everything that we've got through saying, and it's all started off of BD and everything. And then you look at what everybody's done. Like we talked about Crown playing the double, triple tongue stuff and all this stuff. Now everybody's adapted. Blue Coats now with the electronic stuff. Now look at the electronic stuff that everybody else is using. Boston's electronics has gone up. I'm seeing more sound effects. You were talking about you like Blue Stars, Cavaliers. I mean, all these other groups are becoming more comfortable doing these out of these like not so normal things for the activity because somebody went out and did it and was successful with it. It's the same old thing, and it trickles down. And then you turn around and you look at BD,
just still doing the same old thing
on their own little planet, still winning. And it's weird.
Yeah.
How?
Well,
and I'm not saying that they're not doing it too, but
this is. And this will be our final question for tonight because we were pushing the hour and 12. We could keep going forever. Here's the question. Has BD evolved?
Here's my answers.
Have they evolved? Because we said Boston has. We know Blue Coats has, and they're being innovative. Crown, they changed the brass game. Has BD evolved?
Here's my answer. It may not even make sense. I feel like BD has not evolved because the judges have not evolved.
That's I like that. I like that.
Wow.
And I'm out.
Wow.
That's going to piss some people off. But if you look at it, make it make sense to me then. If I'm wrong, make it make sense to me then. How is it that Blue Coats can do what they're doing? That is a movie on a field. That is a journey. That is a play written, screenwrite, whatever you want to call it, on the field. That is used to be box 6 in indoor. Boston is coming out and doing outrageous stuff. You've got all these groups that look like that they're setting trends, setting standards, setting new standards. We just got through talking about it. Crown come out and plays double tug, and everybody and Mama's doing it. Blue Coats got all this electronic stuff. Now everybody's doing it. Cavaliers have been doing fast drill for who knows how long. Now Crown trying to do it. Now everybody else is trying to do all these kaleidoscope drills. Everything's trickling down. But BD keeps winning. And people, we said it earlier as well, people talk about BD doing small steps and drill. They not really moving. They not doing this. They got the same props. They doing all this, blah, blah, blah. Make it make sense to me.
I think
I'm gonna shut the whole
They move.
BDA movie stuff down.
That's not for me.
They just do it so effortlessly. You just, I know it's not you.
Yeah.
I'm just saying for the people who are like BD that move. They move. They just do it so effortlessly and consistently together that they make it look easy. Because I would think that stuff too, because they don't do the whole kaleidoscope drill stuff like that. They don't do that type of stuff. But what they do is they will take a fundamental block and move it and disfigure it and do anything to that block you want it to do. And you best believe every single
that was what I was going to say.
on
is that
entire time
is their achievement is so high. Like their content is comparable, but their achievement's so high. I think that's what gets them in, is that they achieve it. They achieve what they're supposed to do, and they check all the boxes as you're supposed to, and that's how they get on top. Like, I mean, this is something we could like be interested to look at, is like, besides the Flinny-esque show, like if you look at the captions, how far ahead were they of and everybody? You know what I mean? Like, what did that look like? Because that's what we're talking about. Seth was mentioning it last episode. They're beating everyone by the thinnest margins in every caption, but when you get to the very end, there's your gap. You know what I mean? Like, how often does that happen where they're just edging out just enough to get the gap that you have there?
Yeah, Zach, you got anything on that?
I feel like I've already said a lot.
You don't want to touch it.
Tonight.
You don't want to touch that thing.
Listen.
When we talk about,
I might have made it too high. I'm sorry.
No, somebody gonna come in the comments. So bring it on, whatever. When we talk about BD evolving, I think that I think what they do, I don't want to say they aren't setting trends, because they definitely do set trends.
And that's the hardest way to say it. It's how do you say it?
I think what we talk about evolving, and like as far as changing the overall game and like doing something completely innovative, I don't think they do anything that way, because they know what works. But you have seen them add in those things along with everybody else that the trend-setting groups, quote unquote, are doing.
And it'd be small bits.
The sound effect stuff, the
I'm about to say,
changes.
I think the uniform one, like, they're one of the like last ones like to
really do
it all the way.
Like,
yeah,
it's very,
like the year they had the
very minimal
or something.
out of them, but they are evolving along with everybody else, but they're not like completely just trend setting. Does that make sense? Like, I think about the Metamorph show, like between the sound effects that they use, between the visual changes and the musical changes, how it went from way back to this is where we are now in this activity, and it's just piss clean. I mean, there's no.
And I guess to kind of put a bow on it, if you think about going back to kind of what Will says, the judges evolving. One, I'd like to know the average age of the general effect judges. I like to know that, because we've talked about this earlier in the podcast episodes, where the GE is based off a whole lot of your life experiences and the things that you know and you understand and how you perceive things. So if they're not perceiving things a certain way, certain shows aren't going to reach them, and they're going to naturally, just by nature, because you're human, maybe score them a little lower. We've all done it. I think we've all judged in this room at some point in some kind of capacity. So, because if you think about it, comparatively, Blue Devils have like an old school show. Like, yeah, they got props, but they don't make it about the props. The props are just tools to do something. So ultimately, they come out, they march, and they play, and they go home. Well, there's your old folks like that. You know, they like that. And when you have things where, you know, percussion and music analysis and brass and visual performance and proficiency and analysis and color guard, you don't have to be a trendsetter. You just have to do. You just have to have content and execute it. It doesn't. It doesn't
Am
matter.
I wrong to say that that's why the Colts have been so successful this year? Well,
because
they're not
stepped up some stuff.
Yeah, about
This is probably one of the better show designs that they've had. I mean,
outrageous
the past couple years,
based around the props. It does, to me, when I think about it, it's like, yeah, there's props and yeah, there's electronics, but it's not about that. It does kind of feel like an old school.
They're playing.
They're just playing and marching very well.
They're playing and marching well, and it's the same thing with Blue Stars. That yes, they got 7,000 props on the field, but you know what? To me, they could do that same show without any props and still would be doing well because they're playing and they're marching well. Groups that typically do play and march well aren't doing it as well. Blue Knights is not playing and marching as well as they usually do. Crossman shows designs a little iffy. Phantom it's getting back to where it was, but it's not what it used to be. I mean, they used to be the brass line to beat for the longest. You know, Cavies, a very high raw energy, but it's not as clean as it used to be. So, like, you know, you can have very high entertaining shows, but at the end of the day, if the content's not there or you're not executing the content that you're in and being able to ask, DCI is going to find it. You can't hide. There's nothing you can't hide. I don't care what kind of props. They ain't worried about them props on the field. They ain't worried about the voiceovers or nothing like that. When they're walking down in front of you, they were like, "Oh, this kid's not playing," or "This kid just fracked this." So, but yeah, very, very interesting discussions because, like I said, Will,
we might have to revisit that one in the off season.
That was
what?
That, you know what? If we get him on, like the person we was talking about trying to get on for an episode, that would be a fantastic conversation because we've talked about that a little bit as far as like, and the guy even said we need some young blood in there to have some different life experiences, that has seen some different things, judging these shows because, you know, people are trying to do different type of shows now. That relate to the kids that they're teaching. And if you got a 60, 70-year-old, you know, maybe even 50-year-old person that doesn't have these life experiences trying to judge these shows, it's not going to give you the same, not going to get the same results. So, but yeah.
I mean, when Will clearly brings out the cayenne pepper, that spice, that's what's going to happen.
I mean, I got cayenne pepper. Put it on everything.
It's delicious. It's a great add. I put it in my ramen.
Of course you do.
Fantastic.
Of course.
Dude, oh my gosh.
So, change the game.
Let them know.
But, so, all right. So, let's recap.
So,
Chris, run down your
my 13, I have the Troopers just on the outside of finals looking in. Then I have Blue Knights sitting 12th, Colts 11th. Phantom Regiment is 10th, Mandarins 9th, Cavies 8th, Blue Stars 7th, Cadets 6th, SCV 5th, winning Park, Crown in 4th, Boston getting the bronze with color guard overall. My upset would be Blue Coats getting the silver, and then I had BD in first, sweeping brass, GE, and visual.
All right.
What is the group that I had not making it or just barely making it out? Blue Knights. 12th, I had Crossman. 11th, Colts. 10th, Phantom Regiment. 9th, Mandarins. 8th, Cavaliers. 7th was Blue Stars. 6th, the Cadets. 5th, I have SEV and also them winning percussion. Fourth, I shook the spot and put Boston at fourth. And I also gave them winning the color guard. Third, I have Blue Coats. Second, I have Carolina Crown, but I gave Carolina Crown winning brass. And first, I have BD, and then they win GE and visual.
I have Troopers in 13th, Crossman 12th, Colts 11th, Phantom Regiment 10th, Mandarins 9th, Cavaliers 8th, Blue Stars 7th, Cadets 6th, SCV in 5th with the Percussion Award. Then I have Crown in 4th, Blue Coats 3rd, Boston in 2nd, winning Color Guard. And I said that they might win visual, and now I feel really dumb for that. But
hey, go for it, man.
Hey.
And
anything can happen.
Winning GE brass and the gold medal is Blue Devils.
Cool. And I had Blue Knights on the outside looking in, Crossman 12th, Colts 11th, Phantom 10th, Cavaliers 9th, Mandarins 8th, Blue Stars 7th, Cadets 6th, SEV 5th, winning Percussion, Crown 4th, Blue Coats wins the bronze, Boston Crusaders wins guard and the silver, and BD winning brass, GE, and visual, and the gold medal. So it'll be interesting to see how all that stuff turns out. We'll review these on our next regular episode. Like I said, we're going to be headed up to Indy
tomorrow.
And
or they listen to this, it'll be tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow. Yeah, it'll be tomorrow. So we'll be up there Friday. We'll be up there late Friday night, but all day Saturday. So look around for us. Like I said, we'll be hanging around Sound Sport, I'm sure. Food trucks. We got to find us a new place to eat. But
Weber.
Yeah.
Meatloaf.
We still got Weber on Sunday. We still got that. Weber. But leave a comment down below. What do you think? Are we completely crazy for what we're saying about the order, or what are your thoughts about
Did
what's the next step for Coops to
did Will the next level slap you guys with some real talk that
BD.
You weren't ready for?
Yeah. Well, we need to make sure. Yeah, that's
another 3-hour episode right there.
That could be a complete. We could really stop. So anyway, it really is.
That's a conversation for the car ride home from Indy.
Yeah,
in between naps.
Yeah, but as always, like, comment, share, subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Facebook, Twitter, all the things. Let us know what you think. Like I said, we want this to continue even through DCI. So if you got ideas like topics you may want us to discuss during like high school marching band season, we're going to try to do some BOA stuff for sure, and then like try to get some guests in to talk about this general pageantry arts thing. So we want to kind of keep this rolling. So yeah, but
yeah,
man, I'm excited. That is 4 days away. Yay. All right. Any parting words, fellas? Everybody's good. All hearts and minds are clear. All right. Well, for William, Chris, and Zach, my name is Cedric. This has been episode 9 of the On the Back Hash podcast. And as always, we'll see you next time.
Out.
Don't
cancel me.
Out.